Lucas checks his bank account 3 times a day, not because he is afraid of going into the red. He has 22,000 reais saved. He checks because any expense, no matter how small, leaves a physical discomfort in his chest that only goes away when he confirms the money is still there. Last week he paid 60 reais for a dinner with friends and spent the next day with the feeling that he had done something wrong. He cannot explain why. He just knows that spending hurts. And here is the problem nobody mentions. This behavior looks like discipline. It looks like financial responsibility. Lucas' friends think he is the smartest one in the group because he never wastes anything, but what Lucas has is not discipline. It is fear, and that fear has a cost that does not show up on any bank statement. To understand why this happens, you need to understand where this pattern comes from. Most people who develop this relationship with money did not choose it consciously. Something happened before. Either they grew up in homes where money was a constant source of conflict, where its absence created memories that were etched deep into the nervous system. Or they experienced a financial loss at some point in their life, a layoff, a debt that spiraled out of control, a period of real scarcity, and the brain learned that spending is dangerous. Psychologists call this mechanism aversion conditioning. The brain associates the act of spending with a sense of danger and triggers a stress response every time you go to open your wallet, regardless of how much you have in your account. This is not weakness, it is neurology. The problem is that the brain is solving a problem that no longer exists. And this is where the real cost starts to appear. Lucas has 22,000 reais saved. That sounds like a win, but 19,000 reais of that total are sitting in a regular checking account earning 0.38% per year. Inflation over the last 12 months was 5.4%. That means Lucas is losing 4.8% of the purchasing power of that money every year, silently, without realizing it. Over a period of 3 years, he lost the equivalent of nearly 2,800 reais without spending a single cent. Not because he made a bad financial decision, because he was too afraid to make any decision at all. And the cost that nobody counts is not only financial. Lucas turned down a trip with friends last year, not because he did not have the money, because he could not justify the expense internally. That kind of refusal happens once, twice, 3 times, and people stop inviting, not out of bad intention, but because it is exhausting to plan something with someone who always says no. A study from the University of Cambridge published in 2016 showed that the relationship between money and happiness is not about how much you have, but about how you use it. Spending on experiences and social connections has a direct impact on psychological well-being. Lucas has the money, he does not have the experiences, and he no longer has the friends who used to invite him. There's also the health cost. Lucas postponed a medical exam for 8 months because his insurance did not cover it, and the out-of-pocket cost was 300 reais. He has 22,000 reais in his account, but 300 reais froze the decision. This pattern of postponing medical, dental, and psychological care out of fear of spending is one of the most documented among people with this profile. And the cost of a problem left untreated at the right time is always greater than the cost of treating it on time. And there is the invisible cost that may be the greatest of all. The money Lucas did not invest out of fear, not the money he spent, the money he held onto so tightly that it never worked for him. While he was checking his balance 3 times a day, that idle money was losing to inflation, losing to time, losing to the opportunities he could not see because the feeling of letting go of money, even to make it grow, triggered the same alarm as buying anything else. Now the fair defense, because if I only showed the problems with this behavior I would be being dishonest. There are people who control their spending in a completely healthy way, who live below their means by conscious choice, who build wealth because they are intentional with money, not because they are afraid of it. The difference is not in the external behavior, which can look identical. It is in the emotion behind it. If you do not spend because you are building something and that gives you satisfaction, that is strategy. If you do not spend because spending gives you anxiety and guilt regardless of the amount and regardless of what you have in your account, that is fear. Strategy moves you forward. Fear keeps you stuck in the same place with a growing balance and a shrinking life. The real trap is not spending. It is not saving. The real trap is letting an emotion make financial decisions instead of a strategy, because fear will never tell you the right moment to invest, the right moment to live, the right moment to use what you have built. It will always say no, and a whole life of no's based on fear is not financial discipline. It is a prison with a positive balance. The next time you feel anxiety before an expense, ask yourself one question before deciding. Is this discomfort a legitimate warning based on your real situation today, or is it an old reflex from a danger that no longer exists? Because that is the only distinction that matters between living with money and living in fear of money. If this video put a name on something you felt but could never quite explain, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We break down the real psychology and math behind the financial decisions that shape your life. And in the next video, we will talk about the other side of this story, the people who cannot stop spending, and why both problems have exactly the same root.